Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second installment in this year's CyberWise webinar series. I am Andrew Roberts, the Chief Cybersecurity Strategist at MicroAge and C-Store, and I'm happy to continue the 2023 season of CyberWise webinars. As usual, we are bringing you experts to talk about important cybersecurity topics that matter to you and your business. Today, I'm looking forward to learning about secrets management. But before we get to that, let's take a few minutes to introduce the new people to MicroAge and C-Store. C-Store was founded 20 years ago, so you can be sure that we're not going anywhere. And as impressive as that is, we've now joined forces with MicroAge, who's been around for even longer, just 3 years shy of 50 years. Together, MicroAge and C-Store are committed to bringing our clients the outstanding service and value that they have come to depend on. We work with companies across the full spectrum of industries. That also means that we're able to bring cutting-edge technology and best practices from one industry to another and really make a difference to our clients. We're also able to bring you a number of services and solutions to meet the challenges your company is facing today. And that includes cybersecurity. And I don't care what anybody says, this is by far the most important thing that we do. Now, before we dive into today's session, just some simple housekeeping items. First, remember that today is only the second of a whole series of webinars throughout the summer. If you have not registered for the rest, make sure that you do that. And second, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll do our best to get those answered for you. Okay, let's get to it. I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Gaurav Chandler, Senior Product Manager from Thales, who's here to help us all understand what state-of-the-art secrets management looks like in today's complex IT world. Gaurav, over to you.
Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. This is Gaurav Chandler. I'm part of Thales product management team based out of Ottawa, Canada. And today we're going to talk about the market where it's going for data protection and the relevance of secrets management in that space. Next slide, please. So let's talk about an enterprise-wide data protection strategy. So from a data protection aspect, we do see that the data which enterprises are managing is explosively growing. Data is growing because of acquisitions, because you have new workloads being deployed across different environments, and the amount of information which the enterprises are managing today is expected to go double in the next 4 years by 2026. Another challenge which organizations are facing today is compliance. When you are dealing with large amount of data across multiple geographies, organizations have to take care of multiple compliance across different regions, different countries, or even states. And that adds to the complexity of managing that data and keeping compliant. Now, when I say operational complexity, it's not just managing the data for those workloads, but also making sure that there is information is available to the right folks at a given point of time and held securely. When we say securely, essentially, this is because of the rise in the number of data breaches we have seen over the years, and this market is bleeding on the resources and in breaches. Basically, we expect about $22 billion being spent on dealing with cybersecurity breaches along the line. Next slide, please. So when we talk about challenges in terms of managing data, one of the challenges which comes up to enterprises is siloed data approaches. When you're acquiring different business units or when different organizations coming together on a single platform, we do see silos being created for managing the data. You have storage teams, application teams, file servers, data lakes, cloud storage, on-premise storage, databases, and virtual machines. So all these infrastructure pieces are managed by different teams or different business units in an organization, which leads to siloed approaches for protecting that data, which are costly, inconsistent methods across the board. Someone is using KMM, someone is using file encryption, different solutions for different challenges. And that adds to the overburden for the organization in terms of cost of managing the data and also the flexibility to react to a change required to manage these silos across the board. Next slide, please. Now, when we say complexity, which we covered in the previous slide, this adds to uh, poor visibility in the security aspect of it. 50% of organizations do not know where the sensitive data is stored. A good chunk of them are not able to claim encryption for their cloud data because they don't have visibility of what workloads are moving to cloud and what kind of data is being moved there. Data is not all the data is not classified across the board in these silos, and that leads to another challenge is when you're deploying encryption, the keys which are very important for the protection of the data, they are managed differently in different silos. So people are using key managers, using HSMs, or even file formats, keeping those keys locally to the file or the data which is being protected. So that leads to a bigger problem of maintaining the visibility and security of the data protection realm. Next slide, please. And that's where the industry experts like Gartner are coming up and saying that all the enterprises by their report says they have to be investing in a centralized platform-based approach, and that's where Thales comes in. Thales is offering a Cipher Trust platform, which helps you manage data and keys across all these silos of KMAP, file folder encryption, tokenization, and secrets management. So let's cover about what are secrets. Next slide, please. So we all know about anything which requires to access a resource like a credential is considered a secret, but we have interacted on human to machine interactions. Those are the one type of secrets, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's multiple types of machine to machine interactions which also require secrets or credentials. It could be certificates, keys, API keys, SSH keys, or tokens. All these require some sort of management to be presenting a better overview of the security of the enterprise. Next slide, please. So when we talk about machine-to-machine interactions, it could be a certificate connecting to use a certificate to connect a cloud service to a database backend, an API key, an SSH key, a DB password, a DB credential. Now, from the security perspective, we need to securely store these credentials, ensure that they are properly rotated on defined times, and the DevOps teams or our application tools can access them whenever needed, wherever needed, and help manage the term called secret sprawl, which we'll talk about in the next slide. So when you're dealing with large number of CI/CD tools or large number of applications communicating with each other, the term secret sprawls comes up very often. What that means is you have secrets stored in configuration files, network shared, attached network shares, persistent volumes, or even users' laptops. And administrators or machines use these secrets to connect to these different resources, which leads to an area of exposure. We have seen breaches in the recent times where secrets were not managed properly and led to breaches across the organizations and data loss and reputation loss, along with monetary penalties which these enterprises have to deal with. And that's where we, next slide, please. We look into a centralized solution to manage these secrets on a scale. So that the organizations, DevSecOps teams are able to manage their workloads properly and are not overwhelmed by managing those secrets across different uh, aspects like configuration files or siloed repositories or infrastructure scripts or infrastructure as a code. Wherever you're deploying your application, you need to have secrets and those needs to be managed in a centralized way. Next slide, please. And when we say centralized space, this also means that the solution should be able to scalable to the organization needs. DevOps teams are deploying value on weekly basis, on daily basis in some cases, where their infrastructure is growing based on, for example, you're a retail chain, the traffic coming into the environment in holiday season or peak season is sometimes 5 times the scale which is already provisioned for the system. So the systems automatically scale. That means more traffic to manage and more secrets to be delivered to these endpoints in a timely fashion. So a secrets management solution should be able to scale to the DevOps needs or the organization needs to easily deploy, scale on demand, and offer a audit trail and centralized place for managing secrets, be it credentials, certificates, API keys, or tokens. Next slide, please. So what we expect from a centralized solution for specifically for secrets, it should be able to manage your secrets of different types. It should have a capability to offer rotation of master secrets in a defined policy. So it's an automated operation and no human intervention is required. It should be able to share secrets across teams or across team members so that there's no secret sprawl. You're not creating duplicate secrets for accessing the same resource. It should be able to plug into your existing DevOps pipelines. It should be able to attach to Kubernetes pods, which are accessing the system data on day-to-day basis. SSH keys, which as we expand our Linux footprints on the enterprise level, SSH keys is another big challenge which teams or enterprises face to manage. And basically delivery of these credentials or keys when you need them, where you need them. That is in just-in-time credentials. So like a dynamic credential is generated and delivered to the app and purged once the use is complete. Next slide, please. So keeping on these things in mind, why would an enterprise or a customer invest in a centralized secrets management solution? One, mitigate the risk. It reduces the vulnerability surface by bringing all your credentials or secrets into a centralized platform and gives you a better view of who's doing what with this information. Improve customer experience. We want our DevOps teams and users teams to help deliver more value for our end customers and not spend time in finding out ways to better secure the infrastructure on day-to-day basis. So it takes away the complexity of managing those secrets and improve the customer experience. And in doing all this, organizations get improved total cost of ownership, decreased cost in managing the infrastructure or managing the secrets or the security of the infrastructure, and focus energies on delivering value to your customers, be it in financial, healthcare, or any other domains you're working with. Next slide, please. So now we talk about a little bit of technology overview of what this solution is, which we have been talking about in the previous slides and how it helps. Next slide, please. So as I said, we should have the solution available to the DevOps team where they need it, and when they need it. So we should be able to fit in a multi-cloud or on-prem or hybrid deployment. We support all major cloud vendors for. We should support all major cloud vendors for this. Connectivity to CI/CD tools, be it infrastructure as code, Argo CD, GitHub, Terraform. There should be ways or mechanisms available to inject or generate secrets in these tools so our DevOps teams can use them wherever they need it. Unified approach across the environment, as we touched before, all the business units, all the external vendors also should be able to access this if required on need basis, and maintain exclusive ownership to the secrets and maintain an audit trail behind it. So this is what we are trying to bring up to the table for Thales customer. Next slide, please. So Thales offers a unified approach in this place. We have solutions in the same platform to offer discovering your sensitive data, so you have a better view of where the sensitive data resides and take appropriate actions to protect it. And when we see protection, it could come in different forms. It could be transfer encryption, it could be API and SDK level encryption like tokenization, or it could be key management, essentially managing your KMIP storage keys, your cloud KMSs. All so when you expand your use footprints in multiple clouds or multiple accounts, um, there are keys across these cloud deployments which needs to be managed and rotated and audited on daily basis. We can help offer all those controls in the same platform. Keeping those things in mind, next slide, please. We are also introducing a new solution, the same. Uh, you can render the slide one more click. Uh, there are tiles for each use case here on the platform, which allows you to manage keys for KMIP, for tokenization, and now we're bringing up another tile for secrets management, which we touched on. So the same platform can help you manage different use cases. Next slide, please. So here we cover different aspects of the platform which offers for data security. We can do data discovery, we can offer transparent encryption, ransomware protection, database application protection, UDF-based encryption, tokenization, and key management, along with secrets management. We do all this, next slide please, with a platform which is able to offer this in a centralized managed keys with the role-based access control. So all the application can connect to the system with least privilege defined so that you can access what is supposed to be and not access the whole system. There's a audit and enhanced reporting functionalities available from the get-go. This is a must for the compliance and audit teams. When the audit comes up, you can very quickly represent to your auditors that who's doing what with infrastructure in a user-friendly way. And then platform supports an API friendly or the API first approach. Everything which you see, there's an API for that which can be used to automate operations or deploy this as an infrastructure as code deployment. And all this is done with trusted HSM as a backend. So we can be used with in conjunction with Thales HSMs or any other HSMs for FIPS 142 level 3 compliance as well with the same platform. Moving on to the next slide. The next slide basically covers about the deployment architecture. We can spend a few minutes here that, as we talked about, the enterprises should have a bigger overview of who's doing what and should be able to maintain ownership of the data. We achieve this with deploying Cyphertrust Manager in a cluster in the customer VPC or customer on-prem deployments. So all their apps continue to connect into Cyphertrust Manager, and the secrets are generated, encrypted locally on Cyphertrust Manager before they are sent over to the SaaS backend, which is auto-scalable for management. This helps us to offer a digitally sovereign solution for the enterprises because they own the keys to the kingdom, which is hosted in the Cyphertrust Manager, protected by an HSM root of trust, but are backed by a auto-scalable SaaS backend. So in an event when the infrastructure needs go up, the SaaS backend scales up accordingly and automatically without user intervention and continue serving your business applications. Next slide, please. So I would like to summarize it with what the customer outcomes would be, as we touched upon. Centralized management of all secrets give you access to a better view of your security architecture and the capability to manage all these into single platform. You can manage different use cases coming from a single platform gives you a benefit of lower total cost of ownership. You're not required to invest in different vendors for different use cases and train your resources or have dedicated team to manage different vendors. You can achieve all this, as Gartner suggests, from the single platform for all your data protection use cases. And that brings to the last bit of it is the DevOps piece of it. So the technology is as good as it's usable. We do realize that. So the tooling available is DevOps friendly. What that means is we have mechanisms available to be deployed in a frictionless fashion across your CI/CD pipelines, available to the developers or DevOps teams whenever they need it, and in the fashion they need it. You can authenticate to the platform using OIDC, SAML, emails, API tokens, certificates, depending on the application use case. And next slide, please. So we welcome you to connect to our MicroAge team or Daniel Good from our team to take it over.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to engage with you today. As you know, we are in the era of data breaches, ransomware, and cybersecurity threats. It's important to have a good team on your side. And together with MicroAge and Thales, we can help you on your journey to discover, protect, and control your data. please reach out to your MicroAge sales reps, or you can reach out to me. This is my QR code as National Partner Manager of MicroAge. I'm very involved in that partnership between Thales and MicroAge, and we're here to help you. So please go ahead and take my information, reach out to us, and let us know how we can help you in your cybersecurity journey.
Thank you, everyone.
Andrew, I believe we have some questions.
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions, and if any of the audience has some more questions, drop them in the chat. Also, do drop your full name in the chat so we can make sure the snappy gifts work for you as well. So do that before you leave. Gaurav, thanks for your presentation. You had said that 74% of organizations don't know how many keys and secrets they have. You know, what's driving that lack of visibility? Is it shadow IT, or is there something more to it?
And it's exactly that. Shadow IT, siloed approaches to solve different business problems. When we look at business units coming up from different organizations joining hands together, we do see that organizations have invested in different solutions. And most cases, there's no central body governing the aspect of data security, and that leads to lack of visibility of where the keys are or which approach is being used to protect the data. And
okay, so really it's silos, I guess, is really the problem. And silos have been a problem for a long time, not just with security, but all kinds of different things. Is there a good way to break down these silos when it comes to managing these keys?
Absolutely, yes. As Gartner has also identified in its research and service across enterprises, investing in a data protection solution which covers most of your data protection needs in a platform which can do key management, which can do encryption, which can do tokenization, that helps you bring silos into a single approach over the course of time. We have worked with multiple enterprises where they have standardized on a single platform with us, essentially to make sure that all their teams are using the same technology across the board to meet different data protection use cases.
Okay, cool. Now, if most of the DevOps teams that are out there right now are not doing secrets management right, where are they keeping their secrets now? I mean, is it just left pocket, right pocket, or what's going on? How
It
worried
is,
should we be?
yeah. It is a similar to that. If you look at the recent breaches, secrets have been left out open in GitHub repositories. Developers missed that, cleaning up that, and gave access to their crown jewels to these hackers or attackers because they were not managed properly. Uh, for a day-to-day or sprint-to-sprint work, a developer's job is to solve that business problem, and they tend to forget that these credentials or the resources they're using to connect those resources are not managed properly. So secrets are spread all over the place on sticky notes for users and configuration files or open text files for developer applications.
All right, cool. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Drop them in the chat right now. Otherwise, thank you, Gaurav, for that great talk. It really did help me understand more about secrets and how hard it can really be to manage them well. And my thanks to everyone who joined us today. I'm glad that you could find a few minutes to share with us. Don't forget, this is only the second CyberWise webinar. We've got 4 more coming. The next webinar is on July 19th, and I look forward to seeing you all. So goodbye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.